Well, me, like everybody else in the country, are bitterly disappointed, of course, that we lose the game. But when you consider getting to the final again, and as you mentioned with the question, beaten by the best team in the tournament, beaten by the only team that's ever won 7 games in the championship. So it's that kind of strength that you're playing against. And only to get beat in the last 5 minutes, 2-1, we were that close. And I'm bitterly disappointed, as we all are. But you've got to look in a wider context when you're looking at English football and where we are and the manager. And with 2 Euro finals, the semi-final of the World Cup in the last 6-7 years, Gareth Southgate has done a fantastic job in his management. And one of the key ingredients for me is the team spirit, which I think is engendered with that group of players. And that fundamentally then, in my time and now, is one of the most important aspects of a side being successful and doing well. I think the way it's structured and the way we played made it difficult for Harry, who was up front on his own. What I found was a little amusing in a sense, where a couple of the games he finished up playing in the defensive third of the field, defending and helping the team, which I found strange as an ex-striker, because I hardly ever went near the defensive third of football when I played, so I found that slightly amusing. But overall, he's been a fantastic captain and a fantastic player. And within the framework of that side, that was the way it made it slightly more difficult for a front player when you haven't got the possession. And what Spain did brilliantly, and that we knew that before the start, their pressure on the opposition was fantastic right throughout the game. They were very, very good at that, which stops the other team playing. So to get a goal back was fantastic. And just to get beat at the last 5 minutes was bitterly disappointing, but you've got to accept that the better team in the tournament and the better team on the day won. Yeah. And that happens in football. I think it's not so much learning, but just progressing with the same team and introducing new players. I think he learnt that they press very well, and but that's them. You learn from that. You understand why we struggled in the game, because their pressure was fantastic. And you may, as much as you can try and learn from that, you may come up against a side in the future that press as well as the Spanish team did. You're simply facing a fantastic football team with a great record in Euros. That's their 4th one, and a record particularly that's winning all 7 games in a tournament is just not even a draw early on. It's fantastic. They're a good side, and we just got beat in the final 5 minutes, 2-1. So asking me, I'm not going to be negative. It's impossible to be negative. I've won football, but I've lost matches, and the players will get over it. They start the season in a month's time, so they'll get over it, and we will as well as a country. But on the day, and today in the next few days, it's bitterly disappointing. We've got to be very careful not to get too negative. Fans get negative about their team, club teams or the national team if we're not successful. That's part and parcel of football. We got booed off the field in 1966 in the first game against Uruguay. We drew 0-0. We got booed off the field and we won it. That happens. That's football.
Persuade him to stay on?
Well, I don't nothing on the inside of all this, but my own view is I think the FA will want him to carry on. Why not? On what he's achieved over the last few years. I think it will come down to Gareth himself, who will decide whether he wants to carry on. That's because, as we all know, it's a stressful job being the manager. You look at Jurgen Klopp, the fantastic Premier League side, he looked tired, and he'd been there at the top level with all that happens at club level, decided enough's enough. And you can fully understand managing our national team over the years, that can take an awful lot out of you as a person. So I think he will decide what. I have no idea what he will decide, but personally, if he's up to it physically and he thinks he can do it, I would certainly be 100% backing him to carry on. Why not? Why would you want to remove somebody who's got two finals of a championship? As in football, there's always voices, negative that we've seen throughout the tournament, and positive voices. That's part and parcel of the game. You look, and I remind people have forgot with no idea about this, when we won the World Cup in 1966, we played the first game against Uruguay. I didn't play the first 3 games. I sat on the bench and we were booed off the field because Uruguay came on and didn't want to get outside their own half in the first half, made it very difficult, finished up a boring 0-0 draw, and we were booed off. That's football. It happens at clubs. If the club's doing well, great. If the club's struggling a bit, they get booed off. That's football supporters, and you won't change that. That's happened. That's part and parcel of our fantastic game.